MJ, you're first. I'm here. Don't worry. You can't see me. You can't see me. But I'm here. Oh, arrive. Arrive. MJ. Oh, I left my halo on. We're here. So I was looking through stuff, and here's what we got. Now, I haven't looked at them in detail, so some of them are going to go in the trash because I'm sure they've gotten too far along. But we've got a backlog of peppers, mostly bell peppers, some banana peppers, a couple jalapenos, just a lot of peppers in general. They've been hanging out for a while. Some of them are pretty wrinkly. A couple of them are probably mushy. One of them has a clear spot that I'm going to have to cut off. From, bargain pepper bags. We're going to use up all of them. I'm killing the backlog. We're going through all of them. They're not all red. A bunch of them are green. Doesn't matter. Our Ajvar is going to look less vibrantly red as a result. But we're making Ajvar because it's a good way to use up a lot of peppers. Now they use red bull's horn pepper, which I don't have, but it's a sweet pepper. So I'm just going to use bell peppers. I've also got 2 eggplants that have gone a little bit over, so we're also going to kill those. We're just trying to kill the backlog. So witness me. Witness me. Oop. Well, I said 2 eggplants, but it turns out 1 eggplant because this one doesn't look so hot. And it's gone soft on that. It was face down, it looked fine. On this side, that side doesn't look so hot. I'm not even going to bother with that one. He's gone. He's gone. Oh well, he's gone. So, like I said, some of these are going right in the bin. They've gotten away from me as they've been sitting here, which is why I want to just clear the backlog. Like that guy. We're clearly going to cut that part off, but the rest of him looks great. So we'll just hide the nasty little bit. But they're all different colors. Some of them are real wrinkly, but they're still good. This one is a strange color, and he's a little too soft. I think he's also going to go in the bin. Just assemble. So, part 1 of today is going to be trimming off any gnarly bits, tossing them, and then we're roasting the lot of this so that it does not hang around anymore. Cybertraz. Right back at you. Hi, Cybertraz. Welcome, welcome. Let's see, that's all of the big bell peppers. And then I've got like a random mix of some hotter peppers. And we probably should use some of those. Okay, we have had some disruptions. So far, so good today. We've had some internet disruptions around here, and I haven't been able to work out what causes it. 13 peppers. I think this one's a loss already. And that's an eggplant. So I've had a little bit of struggle there. We've also had a little bit of struggle on the financial front around here. We had a very good September, which is helping things out. But of course, once you push past September, things kind of go back to, there's a rebound period. But you know, that's the case everywhere. The price of everything has gone absurd. And then there's this tray, the tray, which has more peppers. This is the pepper land. Like I said, we're killing a backlog of peppers. We have just too many of them. That's a turnip, not a pepper. And that's a tomato, also not a pepper. We're not using the tomatoes today. I've considered trying Zaluk. We made Zaluk once before. I'm glad I didn't, because that would have been 2 eggplants and 2 tomatoes. But as we just saw, one of the eggplants went right in the bin. I never even got to use it. Oh well. Also, I also got these, a bag of these guys, little baby sweet peppers. I don't know that we need them. Hi, Mrs. Traz. Oh. So, step 1, get these guys sorted out. Start trimming. Start roasting. I've already got the oven on and preheating. And I think we're going to use both of the big sheets, but I don't think we're going to have any spillover. So we should be okay. So I thought Ajvar was Turkish. And it probably is still Turkish, but it's also claimed by Bosnia, Serbia, and Croatia, and they're slightly different between them. So as I was looking through, and I was aware of Ajvar because I've gotten it in a container pre-made before, and it's fine. It's mostly peppers. So I figure that's a good way to use up a ton of sweet peppers. But in my research, I was finding all these variations, and I'm pretty sure it's one of those things where it's a regional tradition. It's old enough that it's, you know, got variations in all the neighboring countries in the region, in the Balkan region. And it's probably not really a codified recipe so much as it is a throw a bunch of peppers and eggplant together and have a thing. So you're supposed to roast these guys whole until there's stickers on a bunch of them. We'll take the stickers off. You're supposed to roast these guys whole. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this first part with a little bit of haste because they do have to sit and roast until they blacken, or at least most of the way. But this guy, ugh, he's so squishy. I think that one might be a loss. But you're supposed to roast these guys whole. But since mine are a little bit gnarly and I'm planning on trimming most of them, they shan't be roasted whole. We're going to split them in half, which also I would hope will speed up the roasting time a little bit. Roasting a pepper until it blackens can be a little time consuming. It's better to do this over an open fire, actually, So you get that blast of direct heat and you get that smoky char. But yeah, that's the plan today. I suppose the little guys, if we want to throw the little guys in, those can just go in whole. Yeah, here's my cutting board. So, how have you been, Traz? And MJ? And anyone else who's here? Hi. Welcome. I've been, oh, you know what I've been doing lately? And it's not been good because it consumes a great deal of my time. I've been playing a lot of Crusader Kings. And like I said, it consumes a great deal of my time because it is an extremely time-consuming thing. Let's see. I wanted to see. I'm not even gonna attempt it. It feels so squishy. I think it's just barely holding itself together in that case. Okay, this guy has a clear bad spot. So we're going to just do a little surgery. The other reason I'm going to trim them is I want to make sure to look on the insides of them in case any of them have gone off internally in a way that's not real visible on the outside. And we'll take the stems off, like that one. Oh, his stem has gone weird. We might have to cut the top off of him. Stems aren't supposed to pull off like that. I think we'll just get it started. Oh, yep, it's the middle bit. It's the core bit. That's okay. That's okay. I can live with that having gone weird. So yeah, if you're sensitive to maybe slightly over the hill vegetables, this part of the show is not going to be for you. These guys are definitely a little over the hill, and we're salvaging. I think we're salvaging a little more. Oh, or desalvaging a little more of that guy. That bit didn't look so hot. So yeah, this is why I need to clear the backlog. Well, the way I'm cutting them is with purpose. There's a purpose to it. Yes, I know this is not optimal, but there is rhyme to this madness. We need to get inside and examine the interiors. And we need to clear out any bits that aren't up to scratch, because these peppers are on the old side and there are some mushy bits that I don't want to eat. Also, hello, welcome. We're just getting started, so strap in for a good time. But yeah, so we're going through the peppers with the mind of I've got to take a look at them on the inside. That does mean there's going to be some sacrifices. Oddly enough, I think that these wrinkly ones are going to be the least problematic ones. Because when they start to go wrinkly like this, it means they're drying out. And when they're drying out, they're not at risk of getting like grody. That one I did the first one, that one is probably the worst looking one straight up. This is how I normally cut a pepper. Is I yank out the inside. Also, hi, Bookwoman. Welcome, welcome. And I am taking the ribs out of these. So, so that's how I normally cut a pepper. And that one was a good shape, so we'll just knock the extra seeds out. And he can go right on our thing as is. No, I'm aware that some of them are going to be gnarly and are going to have to be cut weird. I see a lot of chefs do it where they'll like cut the lobes off like this. I don't like that. I'd like to do them like a pumpkin, where you take the middle out. Where you take the middle out like that. And yeah, I'm being kind of rough with them too, because they're going to get roasted off. I heard our oven click, so as soon as this first tray is full, I can put it in. This one has a lot of internals. And yeah, you're supposed to use all red for this so that the sauce comes out a vibrantly red at the end. But we're ignoring that. But we're just ignoring that. So in my research for this project, soft spot there. Croatian food looks very interesting. I might want to return to the cuisine and do like a proper exploration. I've never delved into it before. Cut off the top and bottom, cut those sides vertically, and then lay it out like a sheet. That's not what I'm going for. Right. I've seen that too. I think you lose, like, I think the middle bottom, because if you cut the bottom off, I think that middle bottom is good pepper, and I hate to lose it. But I have seen that. And yeah, that would not give me what I'm looking for here. Oh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Croatian food. Uh, it's an interesting because it clearly has influences from Italy, as well as Greece, as well as Russia. It's sort of, it feels like it's this crossroads of some pretty major different cuisines. It's both inland stuff and coastal stuff. It's just, I think it'll be kind of brown as well. Um, that is definitely likely here. Um, so yeah, tray one is full. So tray one is going in the already preheated oven. Tray two joins the fray. It's also possible that our colors will be more on the orange side because the green of a green bell pepper, I don't know why I said green like that, but the green of a green bell pepper doesn't usually hold up to intense cooking. It gets kind of muddy and yellowish. You cook the green out of it, whereas the red of these guys cuts through pretty well. So we might just end up with kind of a muted red instead of the bright red, which I wouldn't mind. Oops, you guys are over there. The action's over here. Oh. Anyways, I need to be a little bit more judicious when I pick up the bargain bags of peppers, and not just be like, ooh, more peppers. Because inevitably some of them go off just because there's so many of them. Oh. So how's everyone been? How was your week? We went from cold, well, we went from chilly to cold, now back to summer. It's in the 70s and it's getting warmer, and it's supposed to be in the upper 70s, approaching 80 in like tomorrow or the next day. It's doesn't feel like October. It feels like the earth is dying. This guy is rotten on top, for sure. And it goes down at least that far, so yeah, there's juice in there. So I think we're just going to take the top of that guy, pitch him, rinse the juice out of the inside. Roast him that way. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, that's all the ones that aren't wrinkly. Let's move on to the wrinkly ones. Yeah. We need room on that tray for a head of garlic, which I should make sure I have room for. So we're gonna just take the top off of a garlic, plunk him right in the middle space. We'll oil the garlic in just a sec, but we want a roasted whole garlic in this as well. This one, I think. If we want the color, we really want to get these two wrinkly red guys in here. So we're going to get that next. I have noticed that the red ones, when you let them go old like this and they get wrinkly, they get even redder. The red like bleeds into the ribs on the inside, and it becomes intense enough to stain things more like a tomato normally does, which fresher red peppers don't really do. I'm not sure what the process there is, but I have noticed it because I've had peppers get old. Maybe a little bit too often. Hi, TK. Welcome, welcome. We are cutting up every pepper I have, every bell pepper I have, in an effort to clear my pepper backlog. And what better way to use up every bell pepper than ooh, this one I don't think we're gonna salvage. I can tear it. That should not fall off like that, even when they're real soft. I just tear that one in half, which isn't a good sign. I think I can salvage, but I'm going to lose a part. Okay. 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 TK, you're not first. Congratulations. and I see the moisten, I will be with you un momento. Un momento. Or that same phrase, but in Croatian, which I don't know any words of, and thus can't say it. I don't even have a glass. I don't even have a glass. Moist. I hope that was an acceptable moist. From my research, there's definitely Italian cross-pollination with Croatia, but also it has definitely a bunch of its own thing going on. It also seems related to Greek. It also seems like it has a lot of Turkish in it. Or perhaps Turkish has Croatian in it. I'm not sure which one came first. In terms of their languages, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. In terms of their cuisines, yeah, it feels like a crossroads type thing. Okay, that's all the bell peppers, and we've got a whole corner in which we can put other stuff. Liz, hi, welcome. Homework. You don't need homework. I have a couple of options for hot peppers. I'm supposed to add some hot to this. And the amounts are optional. I have a couple of red jalapenos, a couple of green jalapenos, these banana peppers that are getting a little on the soft side, we might just chuck them in. But banana peppers dry pretty well, so I'm not really, because these are some older ones that got dry, I'm not really that worried about the banana peppers. I'm going to do this one because it's clearly not drying right. We'll just take that bit off and that bit off, and I can roast that. Time zones confuse you, and your homework's due tonight. I don't know what time zones everyone else is in. I'm in United States Central. So for me, we're heading up towards dinner time. But I've got a million of these. I was a bag of banana peppers, and they were all green when I got them, and they all turned red. Germany, it's people yet. Okay. Midnight in Germany, yes. It would definitely be midnight in Central Europe. You probably know more about Croatian stuff than I do, because I know basically nothing. I read my first knowledge about it literally today and didn't go very deep. Aha. Well, you can pass judgment on my performance today. I'm going to take the reddest of these banana peppers, just hack the tops off and roast them up. They'll help the color, and they'll give us a little bit of, and the seeds are all at the top, so just whacking the tops off is viable for trimming them. They'll give us a little bit of heat, and they should give us some color. And all the seeds are right there. Well, I'll tell you what I do have is just practice in a bunch of random world cuisines. I'll get on these kicks where I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. And then I'll just keep going in that direction until I get bored. And at the moment, Balkan region stuff is tickling my fancy. A little bit more off of that one. Okay. We still have a bunch of hot peppers, but the hot peppers are easier to use and much easier to dry for later, so I'm less super worried about them. Miss Sepsi, hot. But they were nice peppers. Here's the full collection on my tray. Not the turnip. The turnip's not part of the full collection. Here's the full collection on the tray. We're going to have to get to these tomatoes pretty quick. And we just chopped up all of the bell peppers. Some of them are in the oven already. This guy goes back. Probably should just break out the dehydrator on the rest of those banana peppers. Here's our tray of peppers. We need to oil the brand new bottle of olive oil. We need to oil that head of garlic or it won't roast well. Brand new olive oil. Now this is a much nicer bottle than that last one. Now, I've not oiled any of the peppers or the eggplant because I want that sort of uneven cook and the dry blackening heat on them. Whereas the garlic, we want to go more soft. And then that all goes in. And now those guys all get to roast there for a while. But I have other things planned, so we're not completely going to just sit around and wait while those roast. Also got these peppers. These ones don't look like they're going anytime soon, though, so I'm not real urgent on getting at them. And I've also got these peppers. It's pepper season. I don't know if you know, there's pepper season. These peppers, which I'm told, now some of these were green when I got them, and they've all turned yellow. I'm told by the person who grew these, which is our friend over at Fox Familiar Farms, that they have a very lemony taste. I tried one of these when they were green, and it was very tasteless heat. That one's already going a little bit, so we're going to get rid of that bit. I want to test it out. I've been told they have a lemony heat now that they've actually ripened up and are yellow. So I'm just going to snap the tip off here and take a bite, see what happens. Oh, wow, oh, it's spicy. Oh, it's spicy. That flavor, it's oh, it's real spicy. Oh, wow, before the spice hit me, the flavor is like, it's super light, super fresh, bright, sunny. Wow, that's a really nice flavor. They're quite spicy. I'm not sure how to use that. But you could make a really nice hot sauce out of those and just lean into the sort of the bright, summery flavor. Wow, wow. These ones were a gift. They were homegrown, they were a gift. So I'm not really, and they're in good shape. I got them recently. So I'm not really concerned about getting through them. We might throw one in to our mix. Possibly. Possibly. Other things I want to do. I don't know. I'm kind of riffing. Aside from the Ajvar, I am just going to kind of riff today because I didn't really want to buy a bunch of new ingredients. So I've got a turnip there. We've also still got this guy. We're going to use this guy today because he has to be used. He's going to go off if we don't use him pretty much today. In fact, yeah, he's still fresh, but he's not going to keep much longer because it's fresh meat. So we're going to use this guy today, for sure. Which leads me to, it was a thing, I can't remember the name of it. Croatian cuisine on Wikipedia. This is my recipe source today. I came across Croatian turkey milinci, which is like a pasta, but definitely not an Italian pasta. But they don't have a recipe here. I don't feel like making dough, but this has got me intrigued. I don't want to do two big projects today is the problem. It's described here as a flatbread, but it's rolled to a millimeter thickness, and the picture looks like sheets of flat pasta, where it's boiled or fried, and it's like soft. So that's not a bread, even though this thing says bread. And that's what got me intrigued. Like, I've never heard of such a thing. We should try it. But that's not what I'm doing exactly this today. What we're doing today is that. Now we're in poultry land. Get this membrane off of here. I did just rinse it off because it's been sitting there for a couple of days in its own drippings, and I don't know, didn't like the feel. It smells fine, so it's not like it's gone off. Can I just yank this? Is this strong enough to just yank? I don't think it is. Anyways, this is the other turkey thing from our last project, and we got to use it. And the plan I have is to cut across it like that and make these like flat pieces. Because I am thinking that that will help it cook. And I don't want to beat this out into a cutlet. And then that one has most of that membrane on it, so then I can cut that membrane away. Oh, so what's everyone else having or had for dinner? Any interesting projects on the go? I hate the membrane. This. Oop. Get off of there. Okay, cool. That piece is going to be a little bit gnarly. That piece is the tiny little baby piece. That one looks fine. I'm a little worried about that, but the last one we had that in it too, and it didn't amount to anything in the finished dish, so I am going to ignore it and trust. Well, been here before. You clearly haven't been here before. Because the thing says first time. So welcome, hi. My hands are real goopy, so I can't touch anything until I wash them. Steak and shrimp with asparagus and potatoes from HelloFresh. I don't personally use HelloFresh, but I really like the concept of it. For people who are less comfortable cooking. Because it portions everything out. This is like going to be a free ad read because they are not sponsoring me. Sponsor me, HelloFresh. Because they give you all the stuff to make your meal, and the recipe, and like technique. So you don't have to think about the prep, but then you learn actual things from it because it takes you through actual processes. You got to pay attention while you're doing it. You can't just mindlessly follow the steps. You pay attention to what you're doing as you're doing it. I think that's an excellent way to learn the ropes. And you get to keep the recipe card. So you can do it again. If you want the exact same thing or you just want to practice, you could keep that recipe card and do it again. But hi, welcome. Surf and turf with asparagus and potatoes sounds lovely. I have been considering a surf and turf project since the Wendy's Krabby Patty rollout. Because theirs seems super lame, and I have a better idea of how to make it. But it would be surf and turf. It would be a surf and turf burger. Although I think the one in the show is supposed to be vegetarian, so. Also, yeah, hey, if you want to check out the Discord, see, I've got my Discord, yes. Here you go. Big ol' invite. Let's pin that up. Let's see, what am I doing? What I'm doing is getting myself all confused. Because the turkey does not want to go on a parchment-lined pan. It wants to go in a baking dish. Yeah. I just washed my hands so that I could do this sheet. I'm getting distracted. I'm distracting myself. It's not you, it's me. What I need to do is get all of the handling of the turkey done. I don't know what this is going to be. This is going to be weird. I think this is going to be weird. We're just riffing a little bit. Leftover fried chicken pulled apart, pan fried with jalapenos and some potatoes. That sounds good. Like a hash type thing, or like jerk chicken with potatoes on the side. These are potatoes on the side, so more like. Okay. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. We are going to stop and wash everything that touched the raw turkey. Get rid of it. I have not yet used those turkey necks that we pressure cooked for the gravy base on Thanksgiving. They're still sitting there waiting for me. We'll probably have to use them on Monday. And shredding the meat off and turning it into something sounds like a good idea, since the meat's not going to come off of those in a nice big piece regardless of what I do, on account of all the little tiny bones. I'm also not sure how much I'm actually going to get out of them, so that's a consideration. What am I doing today? I Okay, that. And then we're going to put some of our Ajvar on it and roast it, and I cut it real thin so that it would roast faster. And that's the idea of putting that there like that. I don't know. This is based on one of the things that I read in my Croatian food research. But I'm not super following a recipe for it. Just kind of, and we're gonna set that aside. I'm kind of, I don't know. I want to do a turnip. I got a turnip because I wanted to do something with a turnip. I feel so like all over the place on focus today. What is happening? Just stop. There's no rush on anything. In fact, we have time to kill. Why am I rushing? Some of those guys are starting to brown in there, which is a good sign. But why am I rushing? We have time. We have to chew up some time. Oop. So I think what my plan is at the moment is that this tray on the side is going to turn into roast vegetables. I just need to slow down. Like, there's no reason to rush. There's no reason to be all flustered. I don't have a deadline, and I have to wait for something. I don't know. I don't know, man. Not even like sometimes I do this when I'm really hungry. I'll be like, rush, rush, rush so that I can get the food done. I'm not even really hungry today. I'm just, feel pretty normal. Let's do slices of this. Gordon Ramsay coming to taste test this. Well, it's fucking raw because it's not going to be cooked until the Ajvar is out of the oven. None of this, everything else is going in that oven since it's going to be hot. But there's no room until the peppers and eggplants come out. So. You know what I could do? A bed of sliced turnip under the turkey. Now the turkey's already in a thing. Didn't plan this out. Grabbed a turnip. That's the only thing I bought today as an ingredient. Was I grabbed a turnip. What else have I got going on? It's got to be more than just turnips and, well, I mean, most of it's going to be the Ajvar. Turnips and turkey. Turnips and turkey. What else goes into turnips and turkey? We've got tomatoes. want tomato. No, the Ajvar should do most of the work. Oh, crusty bread. That's right. Now, I'm not making my own bread today, but the main thing that I see Ajvar served on is actually just as a spread on top of crusty breads. And to that end, I got a half-off loaf of sourdough. And I was thinking I could make, like, toast slabs. Yeah. Toast slabs, which would then mean I want to... Do I want to do a turnip mash? I should have planned this out. We're just kind of... Who knows? I'm in kind of a who knows mood right now. Oh, okay. A turnip puree. Isosceles, you're not first. Congratulations. Hi, welcome. You know, a turnip puree is not a terrible shout. If we boiled them, we could run them through the ricer and make it really smooth. And they're so snowy white on the inside that you get a really snowy white finished result. Blend. They're making turnip soup. That's not a puree. That's a soup. Okay. I got this tray out with the paper, and I'm just trying to justify it, and I don't think I'm going to end up justifying it. Because now I'm changing my mind again. Okay. I don't know where we're going with this. We might just be a head empty cooking today. Killing time while our stuff roasts. Twice. At least these are going to cook real fast, since I sliced them thin. Okay. Cold water. So they can float around. And then boil the heck out of them. I do not think boiled turnips sound very Croatian. Just gonna put that out there. Does not sound super Croatian. That sounds more like northern part of Eastern Europe to me. Turnips, turkey. Ajvar's the main thing. They have turkey stock. We could have. I already sliced it. We could have probably braised that whole turkey lump Since the oven's already going, wouldn't have been that hard to nestle in a braise. But nah, don't want to do too many things. I think I'm going to take this tray with the paper on it and just put it away so that next time I needed this tray with paper on it, it already has the paper on it. Because I can't think of anything I'm going to use it for. I just sort of compulsively did it. And then I was trying to justify it. And I absolutely did not justify it. So there it goes. A turnip puree. Hoping that comes out like a really nice pure white. Because a really nice pure white will counterpoint the hopefully at least mostly red Ajvar. And it'll give us something a little sort of on the creamy side, whereas Ajvar is on the more textured side. Homework done. Time to relax. You are now an aunt. Oh my God. And you've got certification. Oh my God. Amazing. Things are happening. It's all popping off. Well, congrats. I need to be a little bit less hectic because I just have to not. Yeah. So what are we doing? Sort of concocting a vision of what this is going to be. Oh, you know what's going to go on that tray? We're going to slice and roast the bread. That's what's going to go on that tray. Because I'm going to need to roast that bread. This is going to be, I don't know how this is going to look. This one might not look very good. It's going to be touch and go. The things I've got going don't necessarily lend themselves to looking really nice. But the flavors I think are going to work. Croatian Ajvar hot dogs is a possibility, except I've already sliced up our turkey and put it in this bowl. At the moment, we have turkey sashimi, and it's been really crudely cut in a terrible way. We will have enough Ajvar that I can probably take scoops of it and put it in whatever for weeks. So we could try it on hot dogs. I bet you it's actually really good on hot dogs. I'm not sure what's happening there. I might not even cook them in this container. I might end up taking those out of that container and doing something else with them as we continue to riff. Feels weird. Because now I'm thinking, do I even want to do that roast, or should the Ajvar be a topping? And I could do these as like individual little, not, I suppose cutlets, yeah. What is scallopini? Should we do a scallopini? I've seen that word. I can't be bothered to read all that right now. A lot of butter. Yes, a lot of butter. Hey, our turnips are boiling. Okay, we're going to boil those into mash. We're going to get them a little bit of salt. Have I ever smoked meat? I have not. I don't have a smoker with which to do it. I've done kind of a cheat smoked meat where I slow cooked meat in with a rub on it that had smoke in it to sort of fake it, but I've never done it proper. That's a possibility of the future. But no, this is my smoked meat. Good old Stubbs. That stuff's really good, actually. It doesn't do the job of like real smoking, but if you just want a little bit of smoky flavor in there, that stuff is really good. And it's not that brand, at least. I can't speak to all of them, but that brand, at least, the Stubbs brand, isn't a synthetic thing. They do it's like a real smoke extract, and they also basically make soy sauce out of it. Water. Oh, they put soy sauce in it. Water, smoke flavor, soy sauce. So no. Take a peek. How are these guys? Ooh, a lot of browning on the tops. A little bit of blackening around the bottoms. I might want to do a rotate and switch with them to ensure they're getting even. I feel like there's a hot spot in the back right corner. In fact, we'll do that right now. You can look upon them as I rotate them. We'll bring the bottom one. There's the bottom one. The top one now rotates to the bottom. And that one switches to the top. Nice. Okay. They're coming along. They're coming along pretty well. I always knew that was going to take a little bit of extra time since I'm not heading them the way you're supposed to, which is blast them with a lot of direct heat, which is kind of a necessity because of the way I had to kind of trim them up. The cut edges are going to blacken much faster than the skins, just because there's sugars in there and the sugars are exposed and kind of leaking out. I don't know how long these turnips are supposed to boil. Either. What else can we do? You know what I did get today? And I've been eyeing this at one of the thrift stores for weeks, waiting for it to rotate over to the half off, getting rid of it stage, hoping no one else will pick it up. And it successfully made it through. No one else grabbed it. People apparently have looked at it because every time I see it, the lock on it is different. So I got it for just a fraction of its discounted thrift store price. It's a pressure toaster oven. It's actually still out in the car, so I can't show it to you. It's a pressure toaster oven, which is such a weird concept to me. Because it's a little box, like a little microwave-sized box with a front door, but it has a pressure valve and a big lock And I was reading through the instruction book, came with the instruction book, and it sounds like you don't have to put water in it to build pressure, which the only problem I have with the pressure cooking, I love pressure cooking. The issue I have is you can only do wet cook with it because you got to have that liquid base for it to build the pressure. And I did kind of trick the one I've got into doing it by putting the food on a grating that held it completely above the liquid, so it wasn't in a braise. It had a chance to kind of not soak in the liquid. And that worked, but this sounds like it's meant to always do that. So we'll have to give that a test drive. It's kind of an awkwardly sized thing. I don't know where I would put it. It's as big as my microwave, and the microwave I had to move the other room here when I set up my camera for filming because there's just no room on the countertop anymore. The microwave used to live here, right here where you guys are. Obviously, it can't live there anymore because you guys are there. This is your house. You took the microwave's house. You live here now. So yeah, I don't know what to make of it. It was very inexpensive. And near as I can tell, it's literally brand new. Probably was in somebody's basement as a gift that they never used. They found it while cleaning out or moving or something, and we're like, we've never used this. Dump it at the thrift store. Because it's pristinely clean. Had all of the bits and pieces packed inside of it really neatly, and the instruction book and the like warranty card, all the sort of the new purchase stuff is in there still. So it's like new, but old. What do you think? Are these guys boiled? I gotta fish one out. I gotta hook one. And find out. Turnip is a bit sturdier than potato. Oop. Tasty. Probably tender enough to mash. It's probably tender enough to mash. So I'm gonna kill the heat. Grab the ricer and a bowl. Move the turkey away. Don't know what I'm doing with the turkey still. So yeah, I guess make plans for some kind of bizarre pressure roast thing. At some point in the nebulous eventually. Okay, they look pretty white. Actually, a couple of them look like they have a little core in. Oop, you guys are still over there. A little core in them, so they might actually have a firm center sometimes. But oop. Get. Oh, they're so hot. But yeah, let's get mashing. Let's see what happens. For one thing, I'm going to start by squeezing the excess water out of them. With gentle pressure. Because there's a lot of water coming out of them still. Ooh, they're definitely sturdier than a potato. We might have to do this with an immersion blender. They are on the side of being too solid to do this with. Or I just have to do a couple of them at a time. No, I'm not gonna fuss. A lot of root vegetables don't soften up enough to mash easily the same way you would with a potato. And it's because they have fibers in the root as part of how it grows. And the fibers give it a lot more sturdy structures. Squeezed a lot of water out of that, though. What I don't want to do is have to lean in on the ricer to the point where I start bending stuff. Because if you're doing that, then the ricer is not the right tool for the chop. Clearly. And I know this thing will do the job, so we may as well just do this first. Although I have to clean the ricer anyways, so. Ah, well. Oh, and I wanted to put milk in it. A little more. I'm picturing this as kind of like a saucy thing, more than a mashed potato. I got flying turnip on my glasses. Paprika wants to come play. Okay, that's basically what I was thinking of. Let's taste it. It's very white, which is what I was hoping. Oh, it's very smooth and turnipy. You can't really taste the milk, which is fine. I think it needs a pinch of salt. And fortunately, I have some on hand. White pepper. Which you use in something like this so that you don't end up with little black specks in your nice pure white thing. It looks like it's got lumps in it, but it has a very sort of velvety, smooth mouthfeel, so I guess we'll take it. Put the immersion blender away. Clean off my glasses. Ugh. Turnip. Turnip on my glasses. We should take a peek at our roasts. Oh, where did you come from? Oh, everything's so much clearer. I can see. Amazing. Let's. I don't know. Let's keep riffing. Let's keep riffing. I heard a ding on my media. What's that all about? What that? We're gonna take a peek at our veg. We're an hour and a half in. How roasty do things look? They could be more roasty. This is what I'm looking at the moment. All of our green ones have lost their green and are getting this sort of muddy olive color. We're not getting a lot of the blackening. A little bit of it. Everybody's pretty soft. The garlic feels a little soft. I wish I could get both of them on the top to broil them. They can't sit out while I think. They have to be in there while I think so that they can keep cooking. Can't believe we've already burned an hour and a half on this. Feels like I haven't done anything. Today it feels like I haven't done anything, even though I've been flailing around. What's the plan? I'd like to move on. Those seem soft enough to process, but if I process them as is, there's going to be skin bits in there. Now I can just hit them with the food processor hard enough that the skin bits get completely pulverized and you don't even see them. That is definitely an option. Flemish, hi. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? We're 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 flailing and riffing today. How's it with you? How's it going? I am also ignorant of Croatian cuisine. The only thing that I'm making today that I'm sure is Croatian is the Ajvar itself. The things I'm making otherwise are literally just me riffing on ingredients I've got. And I don't know if that's going to work. But in my brief reading today about Croatian cuisine, I was very intrigued. So I think I'm going to do some more research and we'll return to it because it seems like a fun direction to explore. I'm very ignorant of the Balkan region in general. I didn't even know that Ajvar was regional to the Balkans until today. It's not exclusive to Croatia. It's just that each of the countries in the area has their own version of it. And they're just slightly different. And the one we're doing is closest to the Croatian one. There's going to be my toast. That's going to be my toast because we're doing toast. I don't know why we're doing toast. We're doing toast. You got your flu shot. I had mine this week too. It was the day I was on. I got it on Monday. It was combo COVID flu deal. And boy, that did a number. Okay. Oil up the bread. Let the oil get all up in there for a minute. We are going to end up using that tray after all. I think we're going to pull at the very least the one with the eggplants on it and start trying to scoop those guys out. We need a big pot. We need a wide pot. We need this pot. Because it needs to be big and wide. Because we're going to simmer off excess liquid after we process these guys in the food processor, which we also need. I just need to clear some space. And a bowl. Big bowl. No. The big bowl. The big bowl? That big bowl. The not quite biggest bowl is the bowl of choice. Okay, let's get one of those sheets out of there. Oh, that one's looking better. This one. The other one can stay in. The eggplant, I definitely have to take the skins off. Eggplant skins are gnarly. The peppers, I think we can get away with, in this case, just processing them. These guys, the skins get real gnarly, but we want that goopy stuff on the inside. Coffee. Well, I'll be here unless coffee takes a lot longer to make than I think it does. We're also going to cut. This is a trick I learned for eggplants. When you want to get the fleshy interior out, they have lengthwise fibers that all converge on the stem. And it makes the goop want to hold on to the stem. But if you just cut, because the stem has this bit on it anyways, if you just cut that off, you've severed all the little fibers. You lose a little bit, but it makes it just so much easier to get that stuff out of there. The peppers that we're dealing with are discount peppers. We're using all of them because I got discount peppers multiple times and then got more discount peppers before I used up the previous ones. So they were kind of in this rolling build-up phase, and a bunch of them were getting pretty gnarly looking. So today's project is clearing the entire backlog of peppers, which we have so far failed at, but we've cleared all of the bell peppers. There are still some hot peppers, but hot peppers are much easier to just dry. So I might just chuck all of those in the dehydrator. Anyways, goal here is to just remove the skins. Now the full process for making this stuff is you fire roast, like open flame roast, and skin the eggplants and peppers. And then you let the insides sit in open air for 2 days after cooking to dry out. We're not doing that. Also, I should have had 2 eggplants for this, but one of our eggplants was gnarly. So I had 2 eggplants, and the amount of eggplant I'm supposed to have is 2. But one of our eggplants was gnarly, so we didn't use it. We just pitched it. Unfortunate, but also that's what I get for hanging on to discount and or free produce and not just immediately figuring out what to do with it. Like the bananas. We ended up freezing a lot of bananas because I didn't know what to do with them. The eggplant is supposed to provide a thickening effect because it's this sort of goopy starch. I could have probably put, no, I didn't want to put literally oven hot stuff into my food processor. I'm not sure that it can handle that temperature. So I wanted to scoop this out so it had a chance to cool off a little bit on the side. 40 an hour where we just watch an eggplant dry. Yeah, that sounds like the kind of thing Twitch would be okay with. I need you back. Because we're bringing this whole thing over. So we got part way of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do these until the skins are just entirely black, but you're supposed to do that over an open flame, or under the broiler hard, or with a torch, so that you can take the skins off. I'm gonna trust my processor can pulverize these and just kind of get them off. I want to get them off the tray. They're actually cooling off a little bit because I can obviously handle them without burning my fingies. But I didn't want to take these too much further because the cut edges are getting quite blackened on account of it being cut. But see, if I put it through a sieve, we will lose some of our texture. You're supposed to have it be a little bit, they call it like pepper caviar, because it's got that kind of slightly squidgy texture. It's not just a smooth sauce like a ketchup. And that comes from, in no small part, the eggplant seeds that are all in there. So I'm just going to hope that when I put the food processor on Super Blend or whatever the setting's called, it just annihilates those pepper skins, which are softened by having been roasted. Although some of these, this tray, got a lot more blackened, and we might actually be able to get some of these to release. Yeah. We can get some of these guys to release. I'm going to put the bread in while I'm doing this. Do not let me forget the bread. I don't know how long it's got to be in there, but we've got to check on it repeatedly. See, that one, I probably should go back through those and see if I can get some of the skins off. Because if we can even just get parts of the skins off, it'll be a big help to the process. Yeah, these ones are going more betterer. Gotta have the squidginess. Squidginess. This guy should also be soft enough just to squeeze out, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so the ones that are kind of like still ballooned up, it's steam inside the skin that's kind of holding it up. And then because it's not in contact with the flesh of the pepper, it was able to really blacken even though we weren't doing it in ideal circumstances. Even those guys are coming off pretty well. So this one actually worked better than I thought. I think I just needed to let that first tray be in there a little bit longer. Because the skins are coming off. And honestly, these guys are cooling off faster than I was expecting to. I might be able to start handling them. Oop. We may have toasted the bottoms a wee bit too much. We don't want the crunchy bits. Okay. Okay. I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the direction we're headed with this. There's going to be some skin, which is fine. It should give us a little bit of a... Oh, that one might come off. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. That one got a little crispy. Aha, aha. And obviously, they don't need to be completely clean. You just don't want like big sheets of pepper skin on your finished stuff, because it's like a condiment. It's like a condiment in that it's a condiment. That one did not. That one did not separate nicely. So yeah, if you're making these at home, I would suggest light it, do it over a campfire. You know, the old-fashioned way. The banana peppers were definitely a lot bit fussier to peel than these bell peppers. Will say that. Probably the spicy peppers, just because they are so much smaller and thinner, should just be chucked in whole. Roast them whole and chuck them in. Don't worry about peeling them. Also, I think that sweet bell peppers have thinner skins than the... I had 2 eggplants. And the recipe I found was 5 peppers to 1 eggplant. Now, I had 13 peppers, minus a little bit of losses from having to trim them because they were old. And I thought I was going to have, 11-ish peppers and 2 eggplants. But when we got to the eggplants, one of the eggplants had also gone off, so I had to pitch it. So unfortunately, we have half as much eggplant as I was anticipating. And the project's goal of use up all of the bell peppers is not being changed for that. So this is just going to be exceptionally pepper forward today. That's just the world we live in. A world of having more pepper. But yes, you are correct. It's not enough. It's not going to be enough. We're going to have more of a pepper forward. Although, again, this is the Croatian version. In my research, other versions of this had 0 eggplant and were all pepper or included tomato, which this one does not. That one's not roasty enough. That one's not roasty enough. Yeah, that first tray, they weren't roasty enough to really get the skins off easily. Oh. Oh my God. You let me forget about my bread. Bread's fine. That one should be okay to peel, right? Right? Nope. Right? Nope. That one. That one came off great. Also, I have no idea where to get the actual kind of pepper that you're supposed to use for this. It's not bell pepper. It's called bull's horn. It's I presume a local pepper that they grow there. It is a sweet variety of pepper, and they're large, but they're not like, they don't look like bell peppers. They look like long, they look like bright red poblanos, but like twice the size. They're these big things. Okay, I think that is enough of the skins off to accomplish what we want to accomplish. I got that bowl out so that I didn't have to have this tray on the side with me. Oop. Get our roast garlic out. Our roast garlic is squidgibly soft and very hot. It is burning my fingers. Ow. Black garlic and seaweed noodle. I would not doubt that you can probably find a reasonable substitute for black garlic and seaweed noodle. Or is it black garlic, full stop, and seaweed noodle? Ow, these are freaking hot. Where's that spoon? Give me that spoon. Spoons don't feel pain. And it's not painful on the outside. It's when you get down in there trying to get these cloves freed up that it's retaining this heat deep down in the bottoms of them. You're supposed to be able to just squeeze this and they come out, but I obviously did not cut it adequately to start with. Because I gave it an initial squeeze and just kind of crushed. I also might have slightly over roasted the garlic. A possibility. MJ's falling asleep. I have bored MJ into unconsciousness. Sounds about right. Have a good sleep, MJ. I will still be here peeling this garlic when you get up tomorrow. Ow. If only I'd gotten a spoon so that I wouldn't have to. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. That's not that late. Good night, MJ. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. Peeling stream. Yep. Full-time peeling channel. All peeling all the time. Nope, we're done peeling. That's it. And there's nothing else in the oven to peel. So and everything is cool enough to handle, which also means that it is, except for the middles of the garlics, which also means it's cool enough that it's not going to damage my processor. So we're just going to wash my hands real quick, but dive right into that step. We're going to check on my bread. And I think we're just going to throw the turkey in there and pray. Good morning. Good morning, MJ. Welcome back. We're still here. Okay. Whew. 2 hours in, but all of my bits and bobs have come to fruition. So I'm okay with this timeline. Okay, this guy, this beastie, this friendo. And we're locking them together, we're locking them in. We're gonna feed stuff in through the top slot. Oh, and it needs some oil, right? Yeah, it needs a bunch of oil in there that we emulsify into it while it's running. Okay, power. We're gonna have a noise. Be aware of that. It's very loud for me. I don't know how well it's picking up on your guys' end. Oop. Not that loud. Okay, well, it's quite loud for me, so I feel like I have to shout over it, which is why I wasn't saying anything. It smells really good. Texture's nice. The texture is nice with a G. I definitely pronounced it with a G. We're gonna get in the way of the camera for a sec as I pour my dripping juices in there. I don't want to lose the flavor. Probably could have done it in batches and then mixed it together in the pot over here. I'm gonna turn it back on and drizzle some oil in there, but it looks really good. I'm glad it's not super loud for you. I am kind of leaning over it, so I was afraid it might pick it up really strongly. Okay, I think everything else doesn't need to be blended into it because it's other like water-based liquids and salt and black pepper. Everything else is in there. So that it's not bright red. We definitely lost some of our red with the mix color. But I think a reasonably vibrant orange is very acceptable. It looks a little muddier on the camera. It's losing a little, and now it's not gonna lie, it's a little brown. It's a little on the brownish side. But, oh well. We're gonna come over. These guys are cool enough I can get rid of them. We gotta check on our bread. Ooh, the bread needs to stop cooking. I made toast. Behold. Behold, toast. I'm going to call an audible on that one. This needs to get in this pan and simmer. But honestly, it's already thicker than I was expecting, so we probably don't need a ton of simmer. It's going to need salt, because there was no salt in it at any stage before now, and you need some salt for flavor. So we'll be doing a taste adjust, but oop, shoot, drop the blade right into it. Immediately rinse that blade off. If any of that stuff hardens on there, it's a nightmare to get off. So blade doesn't need necessarily to be soap washed immediately, but all the bits need to be rinsed away so that it can be soap washed later. It looks really good. It looks on point good. Like, this is what I was expecting after simmering. So let's get the heat on. It needs some salt. Where's my little tasting spoon? Oh, that one's... Cooking stream with very little cursing. I strive to not swear too much as an actual conscious choice. Oh yeah. Oh. Mmm. Ooh. Ooh. Mmm. Ooh. Sorry, I'm... It's tasty, but it's not like... Your bread alert didn't go off. Fortunately, I peeked at the bread before it was a tragedy. I'm doing this. This is the decision I've made. I'm covering the turkey, which has been salted, in our unprocessed or our unsimmered Ajvar. And that is going in our oven, uncovered, until the turkey is cooked. This stuff is a lot thicker than I was initially expecting, so it won't need a ton of simmering, but what it does need is a generous amount of salt. Some vinegar, which we're going to put in plain old white, because I don't have any white wine vinegar, and I don't actually want to use red wine vinegar. I didn't measure that. You're supposed to put in a tablespoon. I think I probably overshot that by about another tablespoon. So we might have to do a little bit of balancing with a tiny bit of extra sugar if this ends up being too sour. It's too hot right now. My cranberries left indelible stains on my spatula handle. But honestly, we're really on point with the texture. Now, I added some liquid, so that's going to cause it to loosen up. So we do have to cook it down a little bit just to recover that. We also want some black pep, which I'm going to hand grind. No. Yeah. Which I'm going to hand grind today. Black pepper, salt, vinegar, olive oil, hot peppers, garlic, eggplant, sweet peppers. That's all the ingredients. It's even more orange in person than it is on the camera. The camera is losing it and taking it in the brown direction. It is definitely kind of a brownish orange, but it's a little bit more like almost like a brick or an ochre in person. So it's actually not that bad. It might fade as it ages. But yeah, the oranges and reds in the mix do seem to have won out in the final color, which is good. I want my black pepper to be really powdered down today, so I'm grinding it in the mortar, which gives me a much finer grind, which gives me a much more powdery grind than I could get with the pepper mill, although I think I would get an even powderier grind if I used the spice grinder. Okay, pepper in to our pepper. All pepper all the time today. Okay, everything's mixed in. And we're just doing taste and adjust, taste and adjust. Ooh, it's got a little sour pinch in the corner of your jaw without being like sour or vinegary up front. It's sweet. Not really getting much smoky out of it. Lightly spicy. It's got this really lovely sort of creamy texture to it. It reminds me a lot of the zalouk we made last summer out of eggplant. That was more eggplant, and that also had tomatoes in it. And that was also served with bread, although in that case it was a special kind of bread. This is just some sourdough toast. But it was the same idea where it's this sort of rich, flavorful goop. I don't think I overshot with the vinegar, but I think I want just a little bit of sweetness in it to balance things out. Not a ton, but a little bit. And since we're getting a little fancy as is with it, I'm gonna use some of my honey jar here, and that's gonna be my sweetness. The squidginess is good. I enjoy the squidginess. Honey. That should hopefully give us just a kiss of sweetness on it. Once we mix it through. I don't believe that putting any kind of sweetener in is a Croatian thing, although I think it was the Bosnian version had sugar in it. So you know, that's not too far away. I know even less about Bosnian cuisine than I know about Croatian cuisine, which is saying something. And don't get me started on Serbian cuisine in the middle. Do they even have food there? I don't know. I think we're going to actually have a hard time thickening it. It's steaming, so it's losing moisture, which is what I was going for. But we're going to have a hard time thickening this because every time I stop stirring it, it kind of wants to adhere to the bottom, and it's too thick to like convect in a simmer. It just wants to like form little mud volcanoes. So honestly, this might be its final form. Let me give it a taste now that I've got that took the edge off of that pinch in my cheeks for sure. It doesn't have that pinch anymore. It actually tastes more sour, but it doesn't give me that pinch, which is fascinating. It also tastes spicier. I don't know if that's just because it's been sort of melding or if that is actually a thing that honey does, makes things taste hotter. I did have to do a bit of a geography lesson when I was doing some of my preliminary research because when I ran across Serbia, I was like, I don't know where that is. I know it's in Europe, and I know it's like in the eastern part of Europe, but beyond that, that's a pretty big area. And I was like, it's in there somewhere. Well, now I know. Okay. Well, like I said, I think this might be its final form, and then we're just gonna like put it in jars. And the flavors will sort of gradually merge together. Absolutely engaging. All the Balkans. Enraging. Enraging. I read engaging. I was like, yes, we're super engaging. Siberia is different. That's true. I cannot dispute that Serbia and Siberia are different in the same way that Austria and Australia are different. It's hard to explain how they're different, but they're different. Let's put the motor of our processor away. Away-o. I think we're waiting on the meat, which I don't even have a concept of when that's going to be cooked. I kind of regret doing it that way now because what am I going to do with it? Is there air? You don't know. I am starting to conceptualize a plate, and it requires the black plate for what I've got in my head. Again, I don't know that it's going to work in practice, but it's what's in my brainium. How hot is that? Not hot. So we can move it. Um, anyway, this is the stuff. This is the main event right here. It's it's supposed to be a little bit more smoky because it's supposed to be open fire and actually get literal smoke in it. Um, but it's spicy. It's sweet. It's got this lovely. It's hard to describe. It's squidgy is I guess a good texture for it. It's almost like a tapioca, but looser. It's not lumpy. It's almost creamy, and that comes from the eggplant. And I think it's supposed to be a little bit more than that because, again, we don't have as much eggplant as it called for. But that comes from the eggplant. Eggplant is sort of binding together the peppers. Spice levels can be adjusted. I put in a bunch of banana peppers, so mine is got some spice, but not a ton of spice. The boiled turnips are here. I made a puree out of them. I want to try doing that chef smear thing. How to do a chef smear. I have no recipe for the meat is the problem. Boiled sour turnips and pork in Croatia specifically. Well, there you go. I only barely touched on doing actual research on Croatian cuisine. The thing that caught my eye mostly was it's a Croatian word, so I don't know what it is. Mlinci? Mlinci, which is variably described as a bread or a pasta. And I was like, that's strange and something that I've never heard of. And that's kind of what got me intrigued by the concept. Pickled turnips. Interesting. I am tempted. Oh. Well, that's why it's not cooking. I turned it off. Shoot. I must have turned it off when I took the bread out. That explains why it's not cooking in there. Damn. I'm an idiot. The oven was hot. So this should have gone really fast because I cut the turkey really thin so that it would cook fast. Now we're just going to have to wait. An apple cider vinegared pork to go with the meal. Well, we have meat. We have meat coming in the oven. There's meat in the oven. It's turkey. Which I just realized that the heat wasn't on, which is why it was not looking like it was cooking. But also was turning color because the oven was already hot, so it was kind of cooking. Turkey. It's the other one of those turkey tenderloins from Monday. It has to get used up, so I'm using it up. I sliced it crossways, or sort of at an angle, very crudely in the sort of sushi style where it's sloped, and then sort of splayed them out in the baking dish in the hopes that they would cook faster because that thing was kind of a big mass. And then I spooned some of our Ajvar over the top of it as a marinade, glaze, sauce, something, something, something. I'm not sure what to call it because it hasn't been marinating. It's just been sitting there. And then I put it in the oven, thinking this will cook pretty fast because it's nice and thin. And then, yeah, apparently when I took the toast out of the oven, I turned the oven off by instinct, and then I put the meat in the oven without realizing that I had just turned it off. So I put the meat into a hot oven that then proceeded to cool down. Well, there's vinegar and honey in our Ajvar. And I'm going to put some fresh Ajvar, because the stuff on the meat should kind of dry out and roast in place as we roast it. Now, I don't know how it's going to work out. But there's both vinegar and honey in here. It's got that sweet sour thing going on. So my plan, here's my current plan. I'll lay out my current plan. I'm going to take a smear of our turnip puree. It's pretty good. I'm going to attempt to do one of those fancy chef smears on the plate. Thinking the oven is on when it's off is better than the opposite. Yes, generally yes. So I'm going to attempt to do one of those chef smears on the plate. So, blob smear. Hopefully it works. I've had a bad track record doing them in the past. This stuff might not even actually be smooth enough to pull that off with, but it should contrast the black plate. We have chosen the black golf ball plate. It looks like a golf ball. We're going to try to get that to work on this plate, or this plate. One of these plates. And then I'm going to take one of the toasts and put it across the schmear, or I suppose the schmear should frame, and then if we do a schmear, and then the toast can kind of sit next to it and be framed by it, and then the turkey should, in theory, sort of rest on the toast with the Ajvar over the both of them, so that the Ajvar can be on the toast and on the meat. And Liz votes for this one, which is good. We don't use I don't really use these often enough, I think. It's going to affect my schmear. It's going to affect my schmear a little bit. Anyways, we're waiting on the turkey. The oven is now still heating up because it was hot and then we turned it off. Like an idiot. Like an idiot. Such as an idiot. Well, I guess I'll practice my schmear and I can clear it off if it looks terrible. I don't even know if this stuff is smooth enough for a chef smear. That looks awful. That looks awful. No, I'm sorry. That looks terrible. So what if... Okay, the stuff isn't smooth enough to do the schmear in my head, so we'll clean it off. We could just fill the bottom of the plate with our turnip puree and then put the toast in the middle on top so that you got this olive rim and then just white in the middle. And the toasts are quite crusty on the bottom, so it won't soak up. The toasts are sort of nice on the top and they're soft in the middle, but they're very crusty on the bottom. So it should actually be able to rest there without going soggy in the turnip goo. So I think that's the plan. Although I want to do it just before I... Because the turnip goo is not super wet. It's not like it's soup. Probably could have been a soup, actually. One of the recipes was literally making a turnip soup and calling it turnip puree. That's a soup. Sir, that was a soup. I mean, I guess we'll find out when I've got the whole thing plated, if it looks good. Since I have time to do a fussy plating now, because my turkey's behind schedule. Why was fancy plating ever invented? Oh, because rich people have too much time on their hands. There, that's my thing. I've filled a plate with turnip puree, and then you take a paper towel and you clean up the edge. Anything beyond dumping it into a bucket is pretentious. Agreed. Agreed. Looks pretty good. Nice and circular. Nice circle of white. And then we put a toast across the middle. We take our turkey slices, we put them on top of that, and then we have a draping of our Ajvar. And I don't have any parsley. So no parsley. Chives? Just for a little green pop on the top? Any cooking is pretentious. Just like using a fork is a sin against God, who provided you with hands to eat with. Catholics at one point said that using a fork was a sin against God because God gave you hands. Something's happening there. I'm not sure what. Something's happening in there. I'm very tempted to put the broiler on. Very tempted. Unreasonably tempted. That one's not even up to temperature yet. It's still heating. This is a catastrophe. It's a disaster-tastrophe. What do I do to kill time? What do I do to kill just a couple of minutes? Or, I don't know, however long this takes. Forks was sinful because... oh. Ooh. Well, we have lots of spoons around here. So many spoons. So I guess I have learned something from playing all that Crusader Kings. We are in the time when I'm just killing time because something went wrong and I lost track of my schedule. Clap, 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 clap. I maintain that chopsticks are the most versatile eating implement. I reach for chopsticks more than I reach for forks. And the only things that I don't reach for chopsticks on are things where you need a spoon. Although I still use plenty of forks. So I use forks for things where I need to cut through something. For just manipulation, chopsticks are superior. If you need to cut through something to take bites, then I want a fork. The oven is now officially back up to the temperature it was when I thought it was up to temperature when I put the meat in. You can eat ice cream with chopsticks. Counterpoint, you can eat ice cream with chopsticks. There's bubbling happening in there. Spoons, well, I mean, spoons come first because they're the most obvious and simplest to make thing. Like, a spoon doesn't need to be shaped specifically like this. That's a spoon. Technically, that's a spoon. That's a spoon. There's so many like variations, and all of them are conceptually like mimicking this, the scooping. It's a thing to scoop with that isn't your bare hand. Whereas a chopsticks, while it is just two sticks and they're super easy to make, conceptually, it doesn't, it's mimicking this. People don't typically eat like this. But that's what chopsticks are for. So the chopstick, while being a very simple thing, is a much more complex concept. And then you can pick up a spoon. You can pick up a spoon with a chopsticks and scoop. Whereas you can't pick up a chopsticks with a spoon. It doesn't work. Ow! Ow! I need to be more careful. Anyways, we don't need the chopsticks right now. I've made food that's not going to call for chopsticks. What do you think about turkey? The bird, but specifically the meat of the bird. Ah, ooh, it's hot and steamy in there. Does that seem done? You know how we're going to find out. Well, everything I poke is well above like poultry temp, so I'm going to say it's done. I agree. Turkey is good, and people are just, a lot of people cook it very wrong because it's traditional to cook it very wrong. Many of the traditions around turkey are ways to cook it badly, which is very tragic. So yeah, we're gonna get plated because I want to eat mine dinner. Yeah, and they peel apart, which is what I wanted. I'm about to make a mess if I do that the way I was about to do that. There. That's, I guess, what my concept was. I guess that is what I described earlier. Minus the drape of fresh Ajvar over the top, which we're going to do now. And yeah, it needs something green to make it pop. And I'm going to say that the something green is chives. I'm going to go grab chive from my front window and add it to this mess. Oh, it's dark up here. It's very dark in my front window. Because it's nighttime. Anyways, I agree with what you're saying. Turkey is better than people think it is. It's just badly disrespected. Okay, that's the thing. Guess I'll take a picture of it, and then we can come back and eat it. I'm hoping for a roller coaster of textures today. Oh, there's beans in my camera station. Begone, beans. Ooh-wee. I feel like I really lost track of time. I feel like the time went really fast today, and also that I didn't accomplish anything. Which is weird because there's a finished dish in front of me, and I made a whole pot of Ajvar and some sort of fancy turnip puree. It just feels like I didn't do anything today. So there's that. Let's give it a taste. Welcome to the taste. Mmm. Mmm. That's really good. I don't know what it is, but it's really good. It's really a roller coaster of textures. And that first bite was literally everything. Wow, the turkey is very tender. Very tender. Like, for having an untimed, just random thing, very tender. Mmm. The toast is very much like a big crouton. It's got a lovely crunch because I oiled it before we put it in the oven to make toast out of it. So it got a really good, like, solid brown crust on the outside of it. Mmm. Which is excellent because the puree underneath is like very soft, almost velvety creamy. And then the meat is meat textured, but it's very tender. It's a very soft, tender cook on the turkey. So having that crusty texture in there is really an excellent balance, an excellent counterpoint. And then the creamy turnip puree also does a great job of balancing out what is ultimately kind of a sour, spicy sauce on the top. The Ajvar has really come out. Like a sour, spicy, but it's rich and savory. It's very good, and I'm excited to just use it on stuff. Oop, the spoon slipped into it, and I'm going to fish that out. No, it came out very good, and it came out how I was expecting it over there, just in a bowl. But it works really well on things. It definitely has this sort of slow building heat. But I'm really impressed by the tenderness of the turkey, and I wonder if you're right that the Ajvar being on top helped prevent the turkey from drying. Because when I temp tested it, it was between like 170, 180. It was in that overcooked, potentially dry level, but it's not dry at all. It's very juicy. And the fact that it was covered in Ajvar, which also has a lot of oil in it, which, because we poured all that olive oil in there, I bet you the olive oil in it also helped prevent it from drying out. Because it was definitely over temp, but it's very, very tender. Which is how cooking like duck or goose works. The breast doesn't dry out because those water birds have a big layer of fat that renders when you cook them. And I think this might have done that like that, where it sort of infiltrated down